Hi, this is John from Bearable Traders, and I want to discuss my worst trade from 3 September 2021. I also want to talk a little bit about judging whether you are in a market-driven trade after your entry. As always, if you could like this video, subscribe to the channel, or hit the alert bell, we appreciate it. Let's take a look at what we did today. Alright, let's talk first about what kind of day it was. This was the kind of morning where not a lot of our moderators or members in our chat room this morning were really feeling like this was going to be an impressive market day. Fridays can be rough to trade anyway. It's the Friday before a long weekend. Volume tends to be low on a day like that. There just wasn't a lot on our gappers list that looked too great. So every morning the moderators for Bearable Traders will put their stocks that they're watching over here in the upper left of our chat room. And you can see my comment there. Nothing looked great to me today, so this is going to be a cautious Friday. So part of good trading is knowing your environment and knowing when you're going to get, the possibility of good plays. And because I trade so many high day breaks, it's good to have a nice volatile day, and it just didn't look like it was going to be that way. So we might have a lot of stocks just kind of trending with the market, and we want to talk about that today. So this is the attitude that I went into the day with. So that's not to say I didn't trade anything. I just wanted to be patient and cautious. And I ended up taking two trades today. One was on Square, and that was a loser. And then I took this Facebook trade I'm going to talk about here. That was a loss as well. So let's talk about, so a day like this where you're not going to have a lot of volatility, things might be following the market. Something to think about is what you use to watch the market. And a lot of us traders use the SPY. Other people use the Qs, or maybe a combination of both. But I'll often use the SPY as a kind of an indication of whether or not a stock is trading independently or more with the market. And this is actually the top stocks that make up the SPY and their weight. So you can see the highest weighted stock in the SPY is Apple at 6.27%. And then you see Facebook here at 2.34%. So it's important to realize that this index can, on a non-volatile, non-catalyst day, really pull the behavior. It's correlated. It'll be the thing kind of driving the stock you're trading. Though sometimes the tail can wag the dog too. So when you have tech all kind of moving together, look at all these tech stocks that make Nvidia, Tesla, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple. All this tech. When tech wants to move together, then that can really pull the market. So that can be a result as well. But let's take a look at the trade and see why I was concerned about the market today and how it might affect this trade. So this is a high day break trade where the high day was 337.16. Volume at entry was 2.6 million shares, and our vol was about 100%. Not the kind of high day I like, by the way. I've been talking about these a bit lately. It's just above a dollar level, and I really prefer it's at exactly at a dollar level or just below it. And so it just kind of represents an area where the dollar level has been broken, like it was here, and then it failed to generate further movement. You can see this great move Facebook was making, very much with the market, by the way, and then pulled back when it broke 337 earlier. So again, not really feeling this is going to be a great day for me. Trying to be patient, trying to be cautious, find something that I can trade. This is my second trade, and it's after 10:30 in the morning, so you can see how slow I was kind of moving along. I don't have these charts here, but if you looked at Facebook and the SPY up until this point, they had very similar looking 5-minute charts. Like I said, this run on Facebook here is also a run on the market. So it's a good way to check correlation right off the bat to see, like, hey, is the stock doing its own thing today, or is it kind of following the market? And what it told me is, generally speaking, on a larger time frame, they're just doing the same thing. But there's this part here when Facebook was testing 337 again, and there's this interesting resistance. So here's the break where it goes to 337.16. This, I believe, this candle was 376.99. These two are 337 exactly. I think this was 99 as well. So all this almost exacting resistance at 337. And what I saw setting up was like an ascending triangle, which is not a pattern I usually trade for high day breaks. I'm usually looking for like a punch through, but I'll trade these as well sometimes. So this interesting ascending triangle. But what's also interesting is that while that's setting up, the SPY is actually dropping. So on the larger time frame, lots of correlation, but locally in the last 10 minutes or so, we have Facebook starting to set up its own move, perhaps. So that kind of looked good. And then the volume was ticking up here, and that was happening because there was about 33,000 shares in the ask, decent size ask, at 337. And you could see the sales printing on the time of sales. And I have a time of sales that shows orders over 1,000 shares, which are fairly large, especially in an expensive stock like Facebook. And they were printing. There were buyers coming in, buying at 337 over 1,000 shares each time. So that was a good sign. And what I often do is I'll watch that ask breaking down and try to get in just before it goes to zero, and then the buyers start to run up the ladder and buy the higher prices. And I was watching it come down. What was a bit concerning is it was coming down kind of slowly. It's really hard to catch a piece of the ask as it breaks down, because it's almost the faster it breaks down, the better the pop's going to be. And this was not breaking down quickly, but it was clearly breaking down. I could see it go down to, I remember seeing 19,000 shares, 15,000, and I actually saw it down at 6, and I took an entry there. So I got an entry exactly at 337, and because I got a piece of that ask right before it was all bought up. And then it only popped as high as 337.11. But what happened next was very telling. So so my stop is down at 376. That's where I'll lose $100 on this trade. It's a full, I took 100 shares of this stock. And if it gets down here, I'll be out with a $100 loss. That's my fail-safe stop in case this thing just goes kaboom and it falls back and I can't even think by the time I'm out. But right off the bat, after that little pop, I'm down to about, I think it's about a 0.4 R loss. And then 0.6 here, and it started to go back up. And I was like, okay, this is good. But then I looked at the market, and I was like, oh, I think I see what's happening here. This independence that was forming in this ascending triangle against this downtrend of the SPY is now gone. So you can see right after my entry, which is on a white candle on my Facebook chart, the next candle in the SPY is red. Not huge red, but it's red. And then you see my red candle. Then you see 3 white candles on the SPY trending up. I got the same thing. Then you got a down red candle. I got the same thing. And at this point, I said, "Look, I'm just trading the SPY. This again. I'm thinking back to my original statement. This is not a good day. I don't want to take the full loss on this, which I would have got eventually, by the way. So I just bailed out with a little over half an hour loss, or no, about 0.6 R loss on this. Yeah, $60. And that correlated behavior continued as well. So that's." That's what this bullet says here. Became obvious correlation was back. Tried to see if the SPY would save me, and I was out at 376.42 with that loss. Now you may say to yourself, this could be coincidence. Maybe they just happen to be showing, white candle, red candle, and just lining up. But there's 6 candles here that, if you think of these as like binary, it's either red or it's white. It's up or it's down. 6 of them in a row are very clearly. Well, they are the same color if you compare Facebook to the SPY. The chances of that happening are 1 in 64. If you think of them as like, if you thought that wasn't correlated at all, and it's just coin flips whether they were the same color, it's a 1 in 64 chance that would be the case. So it's the market driving your trade. So something to think about as you enter trades. If you've got good independent behavior prior, which I like to see afterwards. What's happening? Maybe the market's taking over your trade. Now, I should finish with this thought. If the SPY had taken off, then that's all well and good. I don't care if it's taking me into the green, fine. Ride it. The trend is your friend. But I don't want to be fighting in the red in a stock that is not really exhibiting its own behavior. So thanks for watching this video. If you want, drop a comment below and we can talk about it. And everyone have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.